Hello and welcome. My name is Alterskye, and today I'm going to be discussing how to cleanse your crystals. Now, crystals are pure forms of energy. They come from the earth. They are beautiful little gifts that have been given to us from our Creator, whoever you believe that to be. And they work with us so wonderfully. They give us this energy that helps to enhance the qualities that we already have, and it helps to build them up until they work exactly the way they need for us to be on our right life path and life purpose. There are perfect tools to use to get the best out of any situation that you're in, and to make the best of all your abilities and your gifts that you have been given so generously from the universe. Now, because they are little life forms of energy, they absorb energy. So they absorb energy from anyone that touches them and anyone that works with them. If you have been to a fair or even to a shop to buy your crystals, they will not have been cleansed for you, because anyone would have been touching them, feeling them, seeing if they work for them or if they like them, and their energy would be shared onto those crystals. But to get the best out of them and the most out of them for you and for your needs and requirements, you would need to cleanse them to get them up to their purest form so that they can work for you in your life. There's a lot of different ways of cleansing them, and you need to choose the one that works the best for you. So today I'm going to give you a couple of ideas and how I do it to, again, learn how to cleanse them and then charge them for the purpose that you need them for. So first things first, there's different types of crystals. You have one type of crystal that's called a friable crystal, and friable in general just means that it crumbles easily. Now, you don't want that from your brand new crystals that you've purchased, because you know you're desperate to use them and you really want them to work for you. So the first thing you need to do is to check whether they are friable or not. One of the crystals that I love, and I have worked out over time, because unfortunately I have broken quite a few, that this is a very fragile, very delicate crystal, and it is friable. So it doesn't like water. It likes to be cared for very, very well, so that it doesn't get any scrapes or lumps taken out of it or nicks on it. This crystal is called selenite, and it is a beautiful crystal. It works really wonderfully with any energy that you're working with, anything that you're doing spiritually. This is a lovely selenite wand, and you can see the light through it. It's beautiful. It's got this lovely shimmer and sheen to it, but it is very, very fragile. And it can, if you drop it, it can easily crack into a few pieces. It doesn't like water. So if I have needed to cleanse it in water, which would be the general way of cleansing your crystals, okay, so step one is water, I would need to put it in and out of the water as quickly as possible. Now, crystals come from the earth, so they naturally have that lovely earth around them. They might be a little bit dirty, that's fine. That's part of the enhancement of the crystal, and it just reminds you exactly where it has come from. So when you are cleansing them in water, you don't have to scrub them, you don't need to use soap or any material, any detergent to try and clean them. They don't need that, because in nature, they've just got the earth's water. They would love to be cleansed in a lovely babbling brook or a stream, or even in the sea. But if you don't have any of that at hand, just normal tap water will do for you. Okay, so I would advise a bowl of water, depending obviously on the size of that crystal. If you've got a great big geode, you might need to get a bucket, but just a lovely bowl of water that you can put your crystals into. Let them soak in that water for as long as you feel is right. You can leave them for hours, you can leave them for 10 minutes, and it would only really take a few minutes to just get them really cleansed and back to nature. And because they're from nature, they love the water. Easy. You can add a pinch of salt to the water as well, just to give them that lovely natural salty water that they would have back in nature too. And if you are using a little, and I would literally use a pinch of salt in that water, when you've finished, just rinse them off again in clear water, just to get those salt residue dissolved and away from them, so that they are back to their purest form for working with. Then all you do is you just pat them dry or leave them to dry. Okay, so that's your cleansing side, the first way of cleansing. Again, with selenite and friable crystals, you don't want to be soaking them. They don't want that salt on them, and they don't want to be in that water for too long. So literally, if you need to cleanse it under the running tap, dry it off immediately and it's good to go. Cleansing wise, okay. So Friable crystals as well, a really good way of cleansing them would be to use sage smudge sticks. So you can get your sage. Sage, I'm sure you're aware of, already works to get rid of energy around the home, or if you are working as a practitioner, it's a really good tool to use when you have had a client round, to just sage smudge the room, sage smudge your environment. It just gets things back to basics, back to a nice neutral level. You can use the sage smudge sticks over your crystals, over any crystals, to be fair. It doesn't just have to be the friable ones. So any ones that you want, you can sage them. If you've got big basketfuls of crystals, as I do, it's sometimes easier to just give them a good sage over rather than trying to cleanse them all in the sink. Okay, so that's your sage, really good for friable or any crystals as you see fit and as you need. Other ways you can cleanse your crystals is using a singing bowl. That beautiful chime that singing bowl makes, you can allow that energy to just waft over your crystals and to cleanse them. Other ways are using chimes, tinctures, that music we know in the house as well. Besides using your sage to cleanse the atmosphere, music raises that vibration and it brings in a lovely positive chi energy into the home. So lovely ways of using that energy on your crystals. Again, remember, they are energy, so they take to energy. Okay, so we've now learned you can use the water to cleanse them. Nice, simple, easy. There are some crystals though that might have a feeling of a negative energy around them. You might have purchased something from somewhere that now you're starting to question, or somebody's given it to you that you're now not really getting along with and you're thinking, that energy's not working for me on that crystal anymore. You've cleansed it in water, great. But it still doesn't seem to feel right. It feels a bit negative, or else you might feel nothing at all from it. It's lost some of its energy. What you can do then is just remember where they come from. They come from the earth. So what better way to recharge them and cleanse them and get them back into their glorious state than to have a bowl or a plant, a pot plant, or to just bury them in the ground. If you bury them back in sand, that will help get that wonderful energy back from the earth into that crystal to get them to the right state for you. I have recommended to people in the past to have a little pot holder on their windowsill, put that crystal in, bury it, keep it for as long as you can. So even up to a month would be brilliant, because then again, it's got a really lovely time to get it back to where it needs to be for you. Right, so that's another option of cleansing. So you've got the water, you've got your singing bowls, you've got your chimes that can help work to get that energy up, you've got sage. Also another thing with chimes, because we attend a lot of shows with all our crystals on display, we like to use chimes or tinctures to cleanse all the crystals at once, because you could imagine it's really difficult to get them all cleansed, especially if it's a 2-day show and you've got people touching them, their energy moving onto the crystals all the time. To keep them cleansed over those 2 days where you've got hundreds of them, it does make it a bit difficult. So in that way, chimes work just as well. Right, so now we have worked out how to cleanse them. There's a second stage to this, how to recharge them. Now you do need to cleanse them to get them back to basics, but you also want to charge them for the purpose that you need them for. So what do you need that crystal for? Is it for love? Is it to bring love into your life? Is it for abundance, to bring in that abundance that you need? Is it to help you on your career, that you might need a bit of help to get that promotion or to do well on a project that you're working on? It could be for study. It could be for positive energy, positive light in the home. It could be for any myriad of reasons, to help somebody move past a grieving stage. Anything along those lines, anything that you could think of that you want that crystal specifically for, you need to now charge it. Okay, and charging works with your intention. So it's all about what is it that you desire that crystal to do for you in your heart. Okay, working on a positive vibration and working in your life. So say for example you have a crystal that, all right, I've got this lovely carnelian next to me, right? I've now soaked this in a bit of water, and maybe for half an hour I've put it in a bowl with some water and a pinch of salt. I've now rinsed it off and I've dried it. It's a lovely pure energy back to basics on this lovely crystal. I now take it in my left hand because it's closest to my heart, where that intention is stored, what I want this crystal to do for me. Hold it in my hand and I tell the crystal what I would like it to do for me. So I would like this crystal to bring in abundance for me. Okay? It's as simple as that. So I charge this crystal to bring abundance into my life. You can do this for someone else as well. So you want to charge this for your friend? Same thing. Cleanse it, put it in your hand, and charge it for Mary to bring a relationship into her life, to bring love into her life. Or maybe to remind her that she is already loved by the universe. Whatever it is that you need it for, you can do it. Your intention is pure, your intention is good. It will work through that crystal, and that lovely energy will then know what it needs to do and where it needs to go. So that's how you charge your crystals. Now there is one crystal that doesn't need cleansing and recharging, and that is citrine. So I'm going to show you a lovely piece of citrine. You get the little tumblestones as well. I'm sure you've seen them before on the videos. But this is a small citrine bed cluster, whatever you want to call them. And you will not need to re-cleanse this. You will not need to recharge this, because that crystal knows what it needs to do. It doesn't need to go in water. It doesn't need to be saged. It doesn't need anything done to it. It is a beautiful crystal of abundance. And this is one that can be used to recharge your other crystals. So you've got this lovely bed. He's in a really good state all the time. And you can add on overnight, or as you see fit, some lovely crystals that can then stay on this one to re-cleanse, regenerate, and to recharge themselves. Okay, so there we have your lovely citrine bed. And remember, that does not need to be cleansed. The only crystal that doesn't need cleansing. So we've looked at friable, we've looked at water, we've looked at recharging your crystals. How else can you recharge them? Sunlight or moonlight. Again, working with nature. There are some crystals, however, that do not like the sunlight because it bleaches them. And one such crystal is amethyst. So if you have a beautiful amethyst bed, don't put him in the sun, put him in the moonlight, because that sunlight will take away that beautiful purple colour. He will still work for you, and he will still have some beautiful energy, but he will just fade until he becomes almost clear if you leave him out long enough. So with amethyst, I would say put him in the moonlight and let him enjoy that wonderful, glorious moonlight. Another way of recharging your crystals is to use the new moon. New moons are all about new beginnings. So it's to start something afresh, start something new, and the best time to recharge all your crystals with all that new beginning, new energy, great stuff. If you have already charged a crystal and you have changes in your life, so say for example, you have charged a beautiful crystal to bring abundance into your life. And with that abundance, you now have the promotion that you've always wanted. You have all the material possessions that you need. You have enough money in your bank account. Everything's going swimmingly along. But you would like more of a social life. You would like more friendships. You'd like a bigger crowd of people around you. And you need to get out and just, meet people. You can use the new moon to change the direction of your crystal's charge. So you can go through the whole cleansing and recharging phase and change that crystal as well. But you can also leave them out in the moonlight with a new purpose. And that would be, I want to change the direction of this crystal, and I want a more active social life. I want to use this crystal to bring in new friendships. And it is done. So harness the energy of the earth. Use the water, use sage, use moonlight, use the sun. And that will bring your crystals into their most glorious and the most energy that they can have to work with you. How often do you need to do it? It all depends. If you have crystals that are display crystals that may be in a cabinet or maybe hidden behind something so that they are there as a protective feature, or they're there, as I say, in lovely glass, so they don't get dusty, they don't get touched, they just carry on their work where they are. That's fine. You don't need to do it that often. But if you have crystals that you're working with for specific reasons in your life, you need to charge them a bit more regularly. I would always say if you're working with your crystals, you need to charge them at least once a week. If you are using your crystals for health reasons, I would say daily. It's easy to do. You know about that water or the sage if it's a friable crystal. but you need to do them regularly so it gets rid of any energy that you don't want to be using. So if you've got energy coming off you onto those crystals as you work with them, as they're helping you in whatever capacity you need them to help, you need to clear that energy. Some people like the energy when it is a negative energy on your crystals from all the work that they're doing for you, because they use that energy to bring things out, so to bring out their emotions where they know that they've got a blockage and they need to feel something, they need to share something, they need to cry, they need to get those emotions out. They might allow that crystal to hold some of that negative vibration just for a short while so that they can actually start the healing process themselves. But most people want to have their own energy on them. They want to be working with them for themselves and for what they need them to do. So in that case, you do need to make sure they're cleansed regularly. If you are using your crystals on other people to help them, if you're working as a therapist, or you're just using for crystal readings, whatever it is that you're using them for, or beautiful work, you would need to cleanse them more regularly because you'll be picking up other people's energies. And if you're using the same crystals for somebody else, you want to make sure they are at their best for that particular person. These are all the different methods that I have and that I have used. I hope that these will work for you, because it is so important to have some way of enhancing your gifts, enhancing your abilities, and really helping you to shine in this life and to get you where you need to be. And what better and prettier way of doing it than with the crystals. Love and light to all of you. Enjoy your crystal journey. Bye-bye.